Hello and welcome to another brand new special Unsourced Wall unboxing. Today we're taking a look at the brand new Mirage Comics line NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Casey Jones. One of their new Mirage inspired figures that goes all the way back from when the line started back in like 2011 or something. They recently restarted the line, bunch of brand new figures. They got Fugitoid, Renette, and they have a bunch of Return to New York style figures coming out really soon. But this is the one I was really interested in getting, because anyone who watches the channel might know I was really into getting the Mirage Turtles from the NECA line, but they're really expensive, really rare. However, there are bootlegs out there that are insanely cheap. You can get them for like 15 bucks a pop, and they're usually sold in bundles of all four for like 50 to 60 bucks on like, Chinese bootleg websites like, Wish or AliExpress. And while those are fun, I was still really excited about the prospect of getting Casey Jones. When they announced this like a year and a half ago, I pre-ordered it immediately and it's finally here. So without further ado, let's open it up. Oh, this is perfect. This is beautiful. This is actually really beautiful. You have this great backdrop right here of the very Mirage style New York, all these apartment complex and everything. This will be perfect for like displaying the Turtles and Casey Jones. And here's Casey himself. Let's get him opened up and see what we're working with. And here he is out of the box, the NECA Mirage Casey Jones, and he looks fantastic. One thing to note immediately after that is that this is one gorgeously articulated figure by NECA standards. I think this might be a result of them trying to make this in line with the original 2011 figures, because the way this is like built up, it is honestly really fun to handle right out of the box. Now, there are a lot of articulation points that have that, sense of this might break if I push it too much. I might need to warm that up. But there are a lot of other places like the legs and the shoulders where I don't feel that afraid, which is just shocking from a NECA figure, especially from a figure in the TMNT line where I've heard so many cases of breakages. So yeah, that's a nice surprise. A lot of articulation points. In fact, this one is just so fun to handle right out of the box. I'm not going to like really do much to heat it up, because there's not really anything that I need to showcase how far it can move. Maybe the elbows if I really want to pose it with a couple of the hockey sticks, but let's move along. He comes with the requisite gym duffel bag, which is a bit of a tight fit. I think for this you might actually want to take off the head, so that way you can sort of position it around it. It's a bit of a tight fit, a bit of a tight squeeze, but a little persistence, you can get the duffel bag over the shoulder. That is a very, very tiny and tight strap. Like it's really form-fitting, which I guess is the reason why it's a very squishy, malleable material they use for the duffel bag. But it is it's a very tight fit. If you don't want to put it on, I don't blame you, because it is ridiculous. And then there you can put the head back on, and yeah, let's get him all kitted out. He has 2 baseball bats, he has 1 golf club, and of course the hockey stick. And they all fit snugly enough in his duffel bag. Now, one thing to note is that with the movie Casey Jones, his duffel bag, his gym bag, his sports bag, whatever you want to call it, was really filled to the brim. And this guy has got a lot of room for extra stuff, which I guess it's nice if you want to maybe kit him out with a couple more accessories and use that for extra storage. Maybe he has a couple of the Turtles weapons in there, that'd be fun. But other than that, he's got your classic standard Casey Jones look. He comes with this taken off mask, which is meant to like hang off the edge of his hockey stick like that. But unfortunately, even though he comes with a unmasked head, it's not one of those things where you can take it on and off the unmasked head, which would have been cool and nice, and I think a really fun detail. Or wait, can you? Can you? Shoot, I think that, if you really wanted to, you could. Oh my God, you can. Holy shit, that's awesome. Like, I think that you're kind of risking the plastic straps here, but if you wanted to, you could put the mask on the unmasked Casey Jones head. It doesn't look that great around the hair sculpt, It's not as form-fitting, it's not as flush. If you compare them to, the main masked head sculpt has the band really sort of being dug into Casey's wild hair, and this one's like right up there. It's not really that good looking. It looks like it's just hanging on, which it really is. It's hanging on by like a little plastic thread, so to speak, but it fits really well. And if you want to do that, you totally could. That's amazing. I like this one better because, of course, it's more of a comp accurate look where obviously it's not how a mask would fit. This is more realistic to how a mask would fit, like this kind of head shape. But it's really nice. In fact, I want to see how this looks like with that head on. Oh my God, there he is. There is the masked comic Mirage Casey Jones. And this is an incredible look. Yeah, let's do another comparison. It's not that far off, honestly. While this one has like the comic book, style white eyes effect, I think I love how the sunken in look is for this mask, because you see like there's actual shadows, because it has depth to it, to the eyes and to the mouth grading. It's really incredible. Obviously, like I said, the back of the mask is, leaves a lot to be desired. It doesn't look that cool, but the front has an amazing effect to it. I love it. I might keep it on like this for a while, and then, maybe later on switch back to the actual masked head. He comes with 3 extra hands, 2 gripping hands for his right hand, and then 1 gripping hand for his left hand. For his right hand, they come with 2 whips. Now, one's a little bit bigger than the other, and for his left hand, he only has 1 whip for left hand. So let's see which hands work best for which accessories. So it seems to me that the more open gripping hand is meant to be for stuff like the hockey stick and the bats, while the more closed gripping hand is for the golf club, which has this very thin, very tiny handle, and it fits really snug there. So I don't think that it would probably fit in the larger hand, but that's nice, and it really does sort of differentiate. Now you can obviously get some double-handed posing if you wanted, and that looks phenomenal. Now before we bring out the movie Casey, I want to bring out the turtles because he's meant to sort of go along with them. And here he is with the turtles. I have to say, he looks amazing. They scale so perfectly together. I mean, of course they do. They're from the same line technically, even though these are bootlegs. They're so like genuine and authentic looking bootlegs. And like I mentioned before, this Casey Jones kind of adheres to the same design aesthetic as those previous NECA releases. So yeah, no, he fits in like extremely well. Honestly, awesome to have at least. So yeah, they scale perfectly together. The designs completely line up and match up. They're just immaculate. I do want to try one thing out though. Let's see if I got enough kind of coverage here. I want to try and recreate the classic, iconic panel from the Raphael Micro series and introduce Casey. And it's not perfect. Obviously, these have a loose grip. But I think it's honestly so surreal to have even figures that can sort of mimic what that does, what that original comic panel looked like. It blows my mind. And I'm really glad to have like all of these together, And for not a lot of price too. Like I said, these NECA Turtles, at least the legit official ones, go for so much unbelievable money nowadays. And maybe hopefully in the future, they'll do a proper release that isn't like, some sort of special limited edition that will end up costing just as much on the aftermarket. But yeah, let's move on to the movie Casey Jones. And lastly, here we have movie Casey with the Mirage Casey. And I did put the Mirage comic Casey's head back on, but if you will take a look at the sort of masked kind of Casey head, you can see there's a lot more similarity with that one, mainly because for the NECA Movie Casey, they did sculpt an actual head underneath that. I think they were still working out the license rights with Elias Koteas, but that is his face underneath there. And then when they did the Ultimate NECA Casey, they did release like an actual unmasked Casey head. But I already have this one and I'm fine with it, and it's the one I like. It's good with me. But now, as you can see, there are a lot of differences, obviously comic book to movie, but I think the big one in terms of like actual kind of accessories is, like I mentioned, that Casey is stacked. Like his duffel bag is like burst, like it's all very tight in there. Maybe it's because the duffel bag is a lot smaller as well. On the other hand, he has 3 bats, 1 large, 2 small, and then 2, I think, like hockey sticks. Again, I'm not pretty sure about like hockey all that much, but he has like 2 kind of paddles right there. I think that it just does make this Mirage Casey look a little bit more rinky-dink in terms of how much accessories he has in the gym bag. But other than that, it's so fun to have both of these at the same time. One thing to note though is that the movie Casey had a dedicated hand to holding the hockey stick. Because it's really flat, an angular design that could be curved, almost like a clamp, while the combo Casey doesn't have any of those. He has like your standard gripping hands, which makes me a little bit worried about using the hockey stick because it is still that very angular design, and I'm wondering how that might warp the hands over time. But other than that, I really like it. I think it's really great. Like I said, I love the Mirage comics, so having this in my collection is just so fantastic. I've been waiting a long time for this figure. People have been making their own customs of this figure for like 11 years because, you know, Casey Jones, he's one of the most famous TMNT characters, and he wasn't even in the original run that NECA did for these figures way back when. So yeah, no, it's really great to finally have an official Casey Jones from Mirage Comics from NECA. And you know what? Casey's a simple guy. So even if the figure is really simple, I think that works. He doesn't need all these flourishes. He's just a guy in a hockey mask who likes to beat people with clubs. And that's all he really needs to be. Now I will note, I just got lucky with this one, but all the head changes, all the hand swaps, I didn't use a hair dryer or heat this up at all. Those came out really, really smoothly. And again, this is a figure where I feel like it's just way more fun to play with than a NECA figure usually is. Now, I will need to heat it up for a couple of things. Like this part of the knee isn't really moving, while this one, the entire double bend is fantastic. Overall, I had a lot of fun with this one. I'm glad to have my collection. But let me know what you think. Are you interested in getting the NECA Casey Jones from the Mirage Comics? Are you even attempting to get the Mirage Comics line, even though they haven't re-released like the actual original kind of first wave for the Turtles themselves, or the April O'Neil, or the Shredder? They came out with the black and white Shredder for some reason, even though the black and white Turtles that would go with were also like a limited edition release. So yeah, NECA is still making some ridiculous decisions, but just getting this out and not having it be an exclusive is already a step in the right direction. But yeah, let me know what you think below. Are you interested in getting this figure? And just leave a like, comment, subscribe. See you again next time.